replacing timing belt. Well, at least we're seeing what's wrong with it. We think the timing belt snapped, but it doesn't look like it up here. We're having trouble lifting the car. The engine hoist won't fit under the car. So now we have to jack the car up a little bit to move it forward enough to get here. You gonna air up the tires?
It needed it anyway, right?
Yeah, it did need it. Now they actually look inflated. Well, inflating the tires worked. It's able to be where it needs to be.
Lots of crap.
So this, what we're doing right now, we really shouldn't have to be doing because it looks like this belt is brand new, which means somebody has already taken this car apart recently. I don't know how recent, but considering the shape of how bad those pulleys are, this actually looks quite good. So it's probably literally brand new. They should have replaced the pulleys when they did that. It would actually be hard to tell that the pulley's bad unless you actually took it off, because this one spins quite nicely like this, but when you actually turn it sideways, it makes noise and it stops quite badly. So,
But if you replaced the timing belt, you would have seen that.
yeah, they should have replaced this either way because of the wear and tear on this is insane. So we're replacing the pulleys as well as the belt. We're going to be doing the gaskets too, just, you know, for good measure, and they're cheap anyway. Alright, so you have to disconnect that clamp for the water pump. I can almost get it out.
Possibly the engine could have settled all the way back down.
Got it up. I'm not so sure this is new, at least.
It doesn't look like it.
At least I don't feel so bad buying a new water pump.
That's the pulley. The pulley's mounted to it is the one that failed.
Yeah? Yeah, then they definitely didn't do this.
See this? This is what's left of that pulley that... This is the piece of the pulley that broke.
Oh, okay.
Side.
You're actually using that?
Yeah, because the end's plugged up and I accidentally plugged the hole in it, so there we go.
Alright. It actually, it looks like a rubber gasket itself.
Yeah?
You did a pretty good job there.
Thank you, I just used my finger. Surface is spring loaded, and you want it to fit around this inner machine surface. It has to get up over that, and then the spring will keep tension on it, and that's how the seal is determined. I've never had an issue with these crankshaft seals, but I've had issues with other seals, axle seals with housings.
Yeah.
The spring If you just, the first tap or two isn't perfectly centered, the spring can come off. That's a pain. Plus you need this thing to get up over that lip, the machine surface there. So just run a bead of this dielectric grease. It's not silicone, it's not going to harden. It'll mix with oil, probably break down eventually. So I just make sure I fill that gap in there. A little heavy there, but that's okay. I have the little, that fine little spout. That spring will never come out like that. You don't have to worry about the spring coming off if you don't have it centered perfectly, and it'll actually help when you get onto the ceiling surface. Making sure to tapping this thing's going to make it go in.
Using that socket from earlier.
They're visible, they're not that dirty or rusty, a little bit. So no timing marks present. Usually there'd be a dot or a slot cut away at a tooth, in between a tooth, or on one of these spokes of the pulley. And looking up online, there's a lot of different camshaft sprocket setups, even for the engines without variable cam, where the exhaust cam would have a cam phaser mounted on front of it. Let's take a look at the crankshaft timing. If you don't know how to time it from the factory, you can't find a service procedure, how are you going to set up the crank and the camshaft properly, just going blind? Obviously, the slots in the back of these, that's what I was using these wrenches for, let you know that your cam is in the correct position, roughly. This is not a factory tool. But they're also offset and can be 180 off where the tool won't fit. So we know we're in the general vicinity here. No timing marks, so it's the best we can do.
Yeah, so just to elaborate on,
let's check, okay.
Just elaborate on that, yeah. So if this was 180 and the piston was in the incorrect position, that line wouldn't match up. Yeah.
I mean.
Okay, so now we've flipped it 180 degrees, and that slot,
there's no way to make it line up.
yeah, it just doesn't fit. So on the other side,
so they both have to be in the correct position, which means that like I said, we're in the vicinity with this without the exact machined proper tool to keep it perfectly straight. It's let's think about where we need the crankshaft to be. The goal of any engine period, regardless of make, model, cylinder designation, is going to start with the #1 cylinder at top dead center on the compression stroke. On this engine, obviously the closest one to the front is 1. So we want #1 at top dead center, and the valves to be set for compression stroke, meaning that both valves would be closed. Right now, top dead center on compression stroke, both valves are closed because the lobes are up. So we have our valves set up for the compression stroke. We need our piston set up at top dead center. Come down here and check out the crank pulley. Our keyway mark, that little bubble and notch,
is that what
cast into the cover above the sprocket to the right. To the right, there you go. See? That little bubble that's cast in. Okay. Your keyway is going to line up with that. That's your timing mark on this front cover.
So where's the key?
This slot that the sprocket lines up to the snub of the crankshaft.
Okay. So this is a really neat trick.
So take a picture of the spark plug hole and us going down into the cylinder, which you might even be able to see the top of the cylinder if you have good enough camera vision. Yeah, it does. Okay, so
that's actually that's actually the top of the piston right there that we're looking at.
Right.
So he's resting the.
So that is about as high as that is gonna get, right? And let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and spin it around the idea is that I can.
So now we're checking the
crankshaft
position.
and
Yeah.
check the position of number one cylinder at the same time. If you know, immediately start going down, meaning that it was at its highest point. Let's try to get it to where would probably be the highest point.
Still off. That's nuts.
There it goes. It just started going down.
Okay.
And top dead center is how that piston's gonna go. Now we can start to get the timing belt on.
Okay, finally got it on, but gotta tighten it up now. Make sure everything's lined up. Like if it is like a hair off, I'm saying, you know.
Right.
I think it naturally corrects itself a little bit.
That's tight right now. Not perfectly lined up though. But as I turn the engine right, this one will come down, this one will come up, and it'll actually line up. Is gonna start to
Go down, yeah, and push the
open at the end of this revolution. This intake valve should stay closed for the next revolution.
and then
Okay,
start to go
half a
open.
revolution. Okay, so now it's starting to open up at the end of the downward stroke on the combustion stroke. Intake valve is staying closed. Intake's opening now and
Yeah.
pulling air in because we're going out downwards on the downward stroke.
Yep. And now we're back to
Look at that.
now we're back to normal.
Yep. Look at that. Timing marks line up.
And the timing marks line up. Nice.
So,
Yeah, so as this is down, it's pushing a spring-loaded. That's the valve going down and opening the exhaust. We know this is the exhaust side because the exhaust is here. We know this is the intake side because that's the intake there.
oh, look at those marks are perfect, and my timing, and my crankshaft pulley time mark is perfect.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put it on video.
It's gonna be hard to see with the belt on, but
I can see it from here, I think. There's the mark. Alright, yep. Nice. We have to go through the pulley.
it also has to be lined up, which I think I just got it lined up. All lined up. Yep.
Yeah, we got it running, the cover's off. But it's smoking because we were trying to get some bolts off. We sprayed some lubricant. That's just the lubricant smoking, but everything looks good. It's all gone.